Welcome student on another video lecture. Today's topic is diluent. So diluents are another excipients that we are going to study today. The main purpose of adding diluent in a tablet formulation is to improve the flow of granules from hopper to dye cavity so that uniform amount of granules will reach to the dye cavity and uniform tablet will prepared. Another important thing for which the diluents are added, the active ingredients which are responsible for producing therapeutic effect, their dose or quantity is very less and it is not possible to produce the tablet from the active ingredient only. So to fill or to make up the volume or to adjust the weight of the tablet, diluents are added so that it can be formulated into suitable formulation. So diluents are used in tablet formulation to provide properties which make the tablet better, like to improve cohesion, to allow direct compression of manufacturing. When we are adding diluent, the uniform dose tablets can be prepared because the weight is adjusted, and so it can be prepared by direct compression method. It will increase the flow of granules from hopper to dye cavity, so uniform amount of granules will reach to the dye cavity and uniform tablet will prepared. Adjust the weight of tablet as per the capacity. For example, we have to prepare 250 mg tablet, but the dose of that particular drug is 30 mg or 40 mg. So it is not possible to formulate that 30 or 40 mg drug into a tablet form. So we have to adjust the weight or we have to make up the volume so that 250 mg tablet will prepared and we can easily compress it and easily packed it, and it is easy for the patient who can administer that drug. So all these are the uses of diluent for which they are used in tablet formulation. After that, ideal characteristic of diluent, it should neither support microbial growth nor contribute to the microbial load in the dosage form. So it will not support the microbial growth. Microbial contamination will not occur due to the diluent which are used in tablet formulation. It should neither adversely affect the product dissolution nor interfere with the bioavailability of the therapeutic ingredient. Whatever the therapeutic ingredient which is used to prepare any formulation, that should be absorbed, that should be reached to the blood circulation so that it will give its therapeutic effect. For that reason, the tablet should be dissolved properly. Dissolution should be occur, and when the tablet will dissolve, then only the bioavailability of active ingredient should be there. So diluent should be such that it will not produce any problem during the dissolution of the tablet. It should be colorless. It will not produce any color to the tablet. It should be inert and it should not react with the drug substance. There will be no reaction of diluent with the drug substance, otherwise the different compounds are produced and the therapeutic effect for which we are using the drug, that will not produce. For that reason, there will be no reaction between the diluent and active ingredient or therapeutic ingredient. It should not have any effect on other excipients and their functions. Other excipients we are adding, such as we have added colorants, we have added binders and viscosity agents. All these we are added other excipients, so it will not produce any effect with that excipients, other excipients which are added in the formulation, as well as it will not interfere with the function of that excipient. So if we are adding binder, so that it will drug will compressed into the intact tablet. For that reason we are adding binder. And if the diluent will produce any adverse effect on the function of binder, then it is not possible to produce the intact tablet. For that reason, the diluent should be such that it will not produce any adverse effect with other excipients and their function. it should not exhibit its own physiological and pharmacological activity. The diluent should be such that it will not produce any pharmacological activity. The role of diluent is only to improve the flow as well as so that uniform tablet is prepared, as well as to adjust the weight of tablet. Otherwise it should not produce any pharmacological activity from the diluent. It should have a constant physical and chemical properties. Physical properties like solubility, physical properties like density, viscosity, all these comes under physical constant. So it should have constant physical properties and chemical properties like pH compatibility, pH stability. It will inert compatibility, chemically it should be compatible. All these are the chemical properties of that diluent, and it should be constant. It should not will change during the formulation. It should neither initiate or nor contribute to the segregation of granules or powder blend to which they are added. So granules should not be segregated. There will be proper uniform flow of granules from hopper to die cavity. That is the main purpose of diluent. So it will not initiate or contribute to the segregation of granules. It should not be able to melt if required to match the particle size distribution of active therapeutic ingredient. So if the particle size of therapeutic ingredient is different and particle size of diluent is different, then the particle size distribution will not match, and due to which uniform tablets will not produce. So it should be mild or size reduction can be occur of diluent so that it will matches with the size distribution of therapeutic ingredient and uniform tablet will prepare. Otherwise what will happen, if the size will change, particle size will change of therapeutic ingredient and diluent, then uniform tablet will not produce. So to prepare the uniform tablet, if the particle size is low of therapeutic ingredient, then we have to, the diluent should be such that the size reduction of diluent should also be occur or carried out so that it will matches with the size, particle size of the therapeutic ingredient and uniform tablet is prepared. So all these are the ideal characteristics of diluent. After that, lactose. Lactose is a natural disaccharide containing galactose and glucose. It is a white crystalline powder having no odor and faintly sweet taste. So it is a natural disaccharide which contains galactose and glucose and having no odor and sweet taste. It is stable in air but readily absorbs odors. Lactose is available in several varieties such as anhydrous alpha lactose monohydrate, anhydrous beta lactose. These are the different varieties of lactose which are available. Lactose is available in various grades, but fine grades of lactose are generally used in preparation of tablet by the process of wet granulation method. So fine grade lactose is used for tablet preparation, which is prepared by wet granulation method. The compressibility of direct compression grades of lactose is more. This grade of lactose includes spray-dried lactose containing pure alpha lactose monohydrate and amorphous lactose. Others specially produced direct compression grades of lactose contain glossy areas to improve the compressibility. The tablet lubricant, example 0.5% wet by wet magnesium stearate, is required for direct compression grades of lactose combined with microcrystalline starch or cellulose. So to compress the tablet, the lactose should be combined with the microcrystalline cellulose or starch, and the lubricant which is added is magnesium stearate. Now lactose has following uses. It is used as a filler or diluent in tablet or capsules. So lactose can be used as a diluent in tablet or capsules. It is also used in infant feed formula and in dry powdered inhalation. It is used with sucrose to prepare sugar coating solution. So if sugar coating is needed to mask the bitter, unpleasant taste and odor of the drug, sugar coating is given on the tablet. So to give the sugar coating, it is mixed with the sucrose. Sucrose is mixed with the lactose and sugar coating is given on the tablet. Mannitol is hexahydric alcohol. It is isolated from manna or seaweeds which can chemically synthesized by mannose reduction. So D-mannitol, it is prepared by mannose reduction, and which is a hexahydric alcohol, and that is obtained from seaweed. And mannitol has following properties. It is white, odorless, non-hygroscopic crystalline powder with sweet taste. White, colorless, odorless, and non-hygroscopic. It will not absorb the moisture, and crystalline, and taste is sweet. Its crystal are orthorhombic prisms. Melting point is 166 to 168 degrees Celsius. It is freely soluble in water and insoluble in alcohol. Specific gravity is 1.52. It is optically inactive and slightly levorotatory. So it is levorotatory compound, and practically it is optically inactive. Mannitol has following uses. It is used as excipient for tablet. It is used in liquid preparation. It is also in liquid preparation. It is also used as diluent, as a stabilizer, thickener, and nutritive sweetener. So it is having nutritive value. Nutritive sweetener can be it is used as a nutritive sweetener, thickener, as well as stabilizer. It is also used as texturizing agent, nutrient, and diagnostic agent. Mannitol does not get absorbed from GIT if injected, and it does not metabolize and get eliminated by glomerular filtration. Therefore, it is used as diagnostic aid and osmotic diuretic. All these are the uses of mannitol. So here we have covered two drugs which can be used as diluent. First one is lactose and second one is mannitol. Thank you.